Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. How you doing today? Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And yes, it is Wednesday, and we are back with our longest running guest and favorite expert, I must say, given the comments, Anna Kelly. How you doing, Anna?
I'm doing so well. So good to be here.
The audience loves you, folks. Do me a favor if you're watching this and Anna is one of your favorite, if not your favorite, leave a comment below and let her know that you respect or really appreciate her giving us an hour of her time every single week. It's just amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome. So you wanted to ask me a question for the first interview today. So why don't you take it over from here?
I do. I'm so excited I get to ask you questions today. You said something to me last week that I didn't know you were working on, and I want to know more about it. And
Okay.
that is you're coming out with another new book. So I
Yes.
would love to hear more about what's the book, what's the theme, and what are we going to learn from it?
Awesome. So yes, as you know, writing for me is not easy. So I've been working on this second book for about a year, right? It's
Wow.
been a year. And if you really think about our first book, the one that's over my shoulder there, that was relatively speaking kind of easy because it was Olivia and I's 15-year story, right? Starting from nothing, crazy housing boom, crash. So it was really just that. This next book, my goal for it was I want to try to reach out and impact more people across wider range of experiences, right? I'm a buy and hold investor. I was a buy and hold investor who had a job, bought out of the MLS. That was the first book. But we both know that there's a lot more to real estate investing. So priority number one was to gather stories that maybe aren't mine. So that was cool. So that's what I did. I actually sat back and audited, the hundreds of interviews that I've done over the last 3 years, and I selected 15 stories. So there are 15 investor stories ranging from somebody who's on the other end. I believe she was 77 when we interviewed, right? So she's actually exiting the business, right? Selling and seller financing and all of that. We have brand new investors. So we're doing burr and flip and syndication and all of that. So my biggest goal was to try to capture 15 unique stories and then do what I do, right? Sort of break down my thoughts on each of them. So that's kind of what the book is going to be, 15 unique stories.
I love that. And, I have found that more people learn from hearing stories about other people that can encourage you that it's really possible. You and I are normal people that wake up and put our pants on every single day exactly the way somebody else does. Right. And so for people to be able to say, these are real people, this really happened to them. And this is really possible, not only for them, but for me, if I really get started. So I love that.
Yeah. Really what my goal is I'm hoping this is a book that people go through a couple of times, right? I hope to read it start to finish. That's kind of how it was written. But really what I hope they do is they star the chapter where they can see themselves. That's really what I was trying to build is I don't think anybody will look at all 15 stories and say that's me because they can't. I purposely selected or tried to select a wide range. So my hope is people find themselves in 3, 4, 5 stories and they go back to them because each of the stories I've now been through a dozen times, and they're like, wow, this could help a lot of people.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm curious, Michael, tell me kind of the breadth of the kind of people that you have in the book. What kind of stories are we sharing, and what are your big takeaways from your interviews with those people?
Oh, that's good. So again, they range from people doing it full time to part time. They range from being, in their 20s to in their 70s. They are from single family, meaning 3, 4, 5 units, starting out to hundreds, if not, I think a couple of people are over 1,000 units. Using banks to private money, fix and flip, right? So they don't even hold. They kind of, they're managers of cash. Entrepreneurs. We have an entrepreneur that's focused in the book. But the thing that really hit me is everybody's story starts, like you said, they're just normal people who made a choice, did the work, focused, and just kept going, right? I'm calling it hope, and we'll talk about this in the second video, but my hope is people read this, and again, they see themselves, and they're like, okay. Because that's why I wrote the first book, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, to me, and I say it in the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad shook me up at 30, introduced me to concept I've never thought of, but it didn't tell me how. So that's what that book is okay. One guy reads Rich Dad, Poor Dad, spends 15 years doing the work. What happened? So that's kind of what I'm trying to bring to this next one.
Yeah, I love that. And hope is something that's really important for us to keep doing what we're doing, right? If we don't have hope that the future can be bigger and that we can do greater things, we either won't get started or we'll stagnate and not really do what we're capable of. And I know I have to challenge myself with that too, Michael, sometimes is, because I've retired, right? I don't like to even use that word anymore, but I was able to develop that true financial freedom through real estate, where I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to. It's work optional. And that's a blessing to be there. But when you get to a certain point, the next thing is, what do I do now? And then am I really capable of these things that I'm dreaming of doing? And we need that motivation, no matter how much success we've reached. If we have a bigger dream ahead of us, we need someone that can show us, wow, there's amazing people that had a great idea. They had the hope and belief they could do it, and they went for it. And so I'm excited too, to read other stories about people that have done great things, because it encourages me that, I'm not done yet. I can keep going too.
Yeah. The idea, again, I was struggling, right? I think I've been working on a second book for more than 2 years, this particular book for a year. And it actually was kind of sparked by people keep asking me like, what other books? And the one I always recommend after Rich Dad, Poor Dad or mine is Gary Keller's, I think it's Millionaire Real Estate. It's blue and white, right? It's like this big, but the reason I recommend that book, sure, it's great kind of start to finish, but for me, it's the 20 stories in the back of the book, right?
Yeah.
I have read those stories so often, I wore the pages out. And I'm like, well, if that meant so much to you, Zuber, go write those, because those stories are like a page and a half. It's like stats. So I'm like, well, you have all these interviews, go take them and then, translate them. So that's been a fun project. I'm also celebrating the experts that make this channel, right? So you're featured in the book, as all of my experts are, because again, the thing that makes one rental at a time different, I'm seeing as we get bigger and bigger, is this isn't my channel, right? I'm one guy. I do a daily financial news show that people count on, but I do experts Sunday through Friday. We do 3 conversations, and it's all of our channel, right? And that means 8 or 9 people are talking all about all different things. So definitely featured in the book, because you're a big part of, really, you're the first to say, yeah, I want to talk every week. So thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm honored to do it, Michael, because, the more people that we can reach and the more people that we can inspire and impact, you talk about that impact score, right? How many people am I really impacting? And when we can come on and you listeners can hear something we say and then go do it and change your life because of something we said, there is no greater thing that you can give back to us than to let us know, like, you've made a difference in my life. And so I'm honored to be able to come alongside of you and have somebody read this who my story may really encourage and inspire.
Yeah, it's been fun. And again, the beauty of this, if this works and it goes off as much as I expected, I have hundreds of other stories I can go collect, right? So if we get good feedback on this, I was already thinking about, I could just do a whole book just on the experts, right? I mean, we talk every week. I mean, it could be lots of fun to see where this goes, but it's, this one's been harder, but more fun, if that makes any sense, because the first one, like this first book, like the first 60% kind of just rolled out of me. It was like replaying a movie in my head. It kind of flowed relatively easy. And then, the second half was like, okay, well, what are the 20 lessons learned and all that? So it was relatively easy, but I don't want it to say it felt like work is probably a stretch, but it wasn't as fun as this one. This one's a lot more fun. Yeah. I'm
excited. I have one more question for you about it.
Okay.
When does it release? When can I get my hands on it?
Well, you will certainly get a copy as soon as they're available. My hope is, I'm guessing 30 days. It's editing is hard, right? I don't write well. So editing is what it is. Then it's formatting. Then it's publishing and standards. I'm shooting for September 15th.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah. And it will be on Amazon. And then if it does well, I'll spend $5 or $6 and get it converted to Audible, but we're going to put it on Amazon first. So
that's awesome. Can't wait to see it.
Well, thank you for that. In episode number 2, I'm going to talk about the 5 traits of successful people I pulled from the book. And we're actually going to go backwards because I really want to hit number 1, but I'll go backwards. So we just touch on the first 4 and then we'll hit that. So Anna, where can people find you and be part of your world?
Great. Thank you so much. You can follow me on Facebook at Anna, REI Mom Kelly, also at Instagram and LinkedIn. My website is greaterpurposecapital.com, where we pull together investor resources. We invest in large apartment communities and we create resources and programs to really impact the lives of our residents so that they can learn financial literacy and learn, how to really get ahead and live their greater purpose as well.
Awesome. And I want to talk more about that in the next episode when we get to point 1. So let's do that. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.